Okay, good morning. We'll be discussing about Earth and Life science subject, particularly quarter 1, week 4. Okay, this is now our topic. Okay, so the topic is geologic time scale. Now, at the end of this lesson, you are expected to first describe how Earth's history can be interpreted from the geologic time scale. And second one is identify the subdivision of geologic time. Okay, so what we're going to do is to start with activity number 1. Okay, the title is Then and Now. Okay, so the objective is to illustrate and compare how early Earth is different from today. Okay, so the materials now are the following. We have the bond paper and pencil. Now the procedure is you're going to prepare or get a short bond paper, draw a vertical line at the center of the top, from the top to bottom, which separates the right and left side of the paper. Okay, so if I be holding a paper, okay. Okay, so if this is the bond paper, you're going to draw a vertical line. Okay, a vertical line at the center. Okay, from top to bottom, which separate your right. This part is the right, and this part is the left side of the paper. Okay, so draw an illustration of the early Earth on the left side. Okay, on the left side, you're going to draw here the illustration of the early Earth. And on the right side is the Earth of today. Okay, so add important events on the drawing. So in each side of the paper, you're going to add important events. Okay, in your illustration, add important events for the early Earth, which is found here on the left side, and on the Earth for today on the right side. Okay, so after that, see the difference. Okay, so after doing the activity, there are 2 questions that you're going to answer. So what is the difference of Earth today from the early Earth? How did the environment of Earth develop over a period of time? Okay, so for that, this will be our discussion for the geologic time scale. For the geologic time scale, it is divided into biggest time scale is the aeon, okay, on this part here. Okay, it's the aeon, and we have the era, the second largest, and the least largest is the period, and the last column is the biological features. Okay, so for the Precambrian aeon, the biological features that can be seen is no evidence of life and all these fossils known, and origin of Earth. So the origin of Earth started at Precambrian aeon. Okay, so let's have, okay, for the another aeon, for the geologic time scale, we have the Phanerozoic, which consists of era, which is Paleozoic. Okay, for the Paleozoic era, it consists of the following periods. Okay, so we have, okay, the first period for the Paleozoic, we have the Cambrian. Next is Ordovician, Third is Silurian. The fourth is Devonian. Fifth, Carboniferous. And the sixth is Permian. For each period, okay, we have the biological features. Like for Cambrian, we have the age of invertebrates. Now, what are invertebrates? These are organisms without backbone. And aside from that, we have the marine algae flourish. So there is now the emergence of the different marine algae. Okay, next is for the Ordovician, we have the abundance of marine algae, then the appearance of first vertebrates. For the Silurian, we have the jowed fishes appear, the vascular plants, which invaded the lands. And then for Devonian, we have the first appearance of amphibians and insects, an age of fishes. Now for the Carboniferous, we have the animals are mostly amphibians. If we talk about amphibians, these are animals that can live both land and water. And seed plants appear. For the Permian, we have the reptiles. What are reptiles? These are animals that live on land area. Okay, so they have the hard skin. They cannot live in moist area but on dry area, particularly in land. These are lizards, example of that. We have the modern insects and conifers appear. Okay. Now for the era for the Phanerozoic, we have the Mesozoic. Okay, the Mesozoic, which includes the different periods. We have the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. For the Triassic, we have the first mammal exists. Okay, what are mammals? These are the animals that have mammary gland. So they feed their young through their breast or through their milk. And the first dinosaur appears. For the Jurassic, we have the age of dinosaurs. Aves appear. Aves these are birds. Plants with seeds are dominant above the land. And the last is the Cretaceous. We have the extinction of dinosaurs. So dinosaurs are now extinct, meaning they tend to disappear. Okay, and other animals. Placental mammals exist. What are placental mammals? These are mammals that have placenta in which they nourished their young through the placenta. Example of that are humans. Humans have placenta. Okay, so we have flowering plants appear. Okay, for the last era, for the Phanerozoic, we have the Cenozoic, which includes the two periods. We have the Tertiary and Quaternary. The Tertiary period, we have humans appear. Okay, so this is the evolution of human. No? Appear how humans look like in this period. The herbaceous lands spread and diversified. And the Quaternary, the age of abundance of herbaceous plants. Okay, so these are what we call the scale, the time scale, geologic time scale of the evolution from the origin of the earth until the age of man. Okay, let's have activity number 2. This is all about my own timeline. Now, I want you to create a timeline of your life. So prepare the materials like bond paper, pen, and ruler. Okay, so procedure number 1, place the long bond paper at the top of your armchair in a landscape orientation. So if you're using an armchair, of course, you're going to put the bond paper on a landscape orientation. And if you're using a table, of course, you can use table. Okay, write birth on the leftmost upper part of paper. Okay, so this is now the bond paper. On the leftmost upper part of bond paper, okay, write the term birth. And on the rightmost upper part here, you're going to write now. So divide the paper using a ruler into a certain number of years. Okay, so divide this paper into a certain number of years. So for example, 5, 10, 15, etc. So it depends on your age. So if your age is 16, so how are you going to divide it? So 4, 8, 12, 16. If your age is 20, so then you're going to use the numbers divisible by 5. The number divisible by 5. Okay. So make a vertical line from top to bottom in every division. Okay. So it depends, when you are going to make a division, it depends on your age. The how you're going to make columns depends on your age. So after that, make a timeline of your life. Okay? And add up events that you think are unforgettable and meaningful. So make sure to write the events in sequence. Okay? Okay. So after doing, or after you are done doing your activity, there are guide questions that you're going to answer. First, what did you feel upon making your timeline? Second, how did you make your timeline? Okay. Now, this discussion is the same with what we have discussed earlier, but it's more on number of years. So we have from Cenozoic, okay, the Quaternary and Tertiary, it's 1.8 million to 65 million. For the Jurassic, Triassic, and the Mesozoic, we have 165 million to 245, 66 million to 245 million. For the Paleozoic, we have 360 million until 544 million. And for the Precambrian, okay, we have the 4.6 billion years. So 4.6 billion years, it's how Earth has got its age. Okay, so for the third activity, you're going to identify what era. Okay, what era the following pictures belong. So what are the different eras? So we have the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the, can you recall the Mesozoic, the Paleozoic, and the Cenozoic? Okay, so these are your answers when answering numbers 1 to, I guess it's 1 to 6. Okay, it's 1 to 6. Okay, so for that, okay, the first one is a bird. Okay, so what era, okay, do birds belong? Okay, the second one is the Pangaea, or we call it the continental drifting of big pieces of land. Okay, the third one is the evolution of man. Okay, the fourth is the flowering plants. The fifth is reptile, and the sixth is fishes. Okay, for the fourth activity, what I have learned. Okay, so synthesizing your learning. Okay, the materials are paper and pen. Okay, make your own design of graphic organizer. Okay, let's say graphic organizer. Your graphic organizer must, or it could be a concept map or a T-chart. Okay, what you're going to do, write the words associated with the topic geologic time scale. And at the last part is, at the back of your paper, write and explain the words given. Okay. For the fifth activity, what I can do. Okay, it's Earth's geologic time scale. Make a timeline of Earth's geologic time scale. Okay, the materials you're going to may prepare cartolina, pictures of different animals. Okay, animals, plants. Okay, pen, scissors, glue. And what are you going to do? Okay, create your own design on a timeline of Earth's geologic time scale. Add pictures of, as what I have mentioned earlier, that will make your output attractive. Okay, so these are the rubric for designing the geologic time scale. We have the content, creativity, and media technology. So the highest point that will be given is 5 and the lowest is 3 for each criterion. Am I understood for this? Okay, so before I leave my lecture, I want you to share to you this saying by Martin Luther King Jr., who is a civil rights and activist and pastor. If you cannot fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.